Well, in breaking news, Sheldon Keefe has been fired as the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Keefe was promoted from the Marlies to head coach of the Leafs midway through the 2019-2020 season. And despite making it to the playoffs every year that he was head coach, the team only won a single playoff series, and they were ousted in the first round again this year in 7 games against the Bruins. So the Leafs management says that it was time for a new voice, and the search for a new coach will begin immediately. General Manager Brad Treliving and President Brendan Shanahan, they are scheduled to speak to the media. This is going to be tomorrow, along with new MLSE boss, Keith Pelly. John Viveros, host of Hot Take Hockey Podcast, joins us with more on Keith's firing. So, John, let's just start with this. We kind of talked about this last week during the playoff series, right?
We talked about it, Bakari, and even with the comeback in this series, I told you after Game 5, after Game 6, and even right before Game 7, regardless of outcome of how you lose the series, you lose the series and major change needs to take place. And I think when you look at his overall tenure with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and at this point, he was the 5th longest tenured coach in the National Hockey League. He had 5 seasons, 5 appearances in the playoffs, but only 1 series win. And I think when you look at this roster and how skilled this roster is and the expectations that came with this roster, only 1 series win is not going to cut it. You look at the regular season record, he had 212 wins in 349 regular season wins, 349 regular season games. But Bakari, all that matters is the playoffs in my eyes, winning championships, or at least showing the progress. And after the first round series win last year, you expected more of an upward trajectory, and it just didn't happen. Another first round loss, and again against the Boston Bruins. So you need a new voice in the room, and Sheldon Keefe, so far only his NHL experience with the Leafs is now over, and I think it was long overdue.
And, you know, after losing to the Bruins this last series, Sheldon Keefe, this is one of the things that he said during that post-game interview, find solutions. Let's kind of talk about that. So where do the Leafs go right now for their new solution?
So when you look at the overall roster, and I think it definitely needs change. It needs change among the core 4 players. I think when Sheldon Keefe, his press conference was actually very ownership heavy. He took a lot of the ownership towards himself and took a lot of the responsibility, which I think any head coach should. But I think really the tone of his press conference was that it was coming to an end, that maybe he was going to see maybe another year, but I think at the end of the day, his time with the Toronto Maple Leafs was coming to an end, and I think he knew that. And in terms of change in the roster, just in terms of playing the right way, I think you saw signs of that in this short playoff run once again, only 7 games. But I think when you look at the change, it probably starts with a big change in terms of the core 4. Talk about lack of playoff success. Mitch Marner has not gotten it done. And you also talk about the structure of this team, which didn't get a consistent goalie, didn't get a consistent run from a goalie, and ultimately hasn't been able to build that defense the way Brad Treliving wants. So I think Sheldon Keefe, the tone of his interview, it was a lot more ownership, but you've seen in the past and heard in the past from him that he also hasn't loved the structure of the team and has struggled with that. And I think when they brought in guys at the start of the year like Tyler Bertuzzi, Max Domi, not really guys that Sheldon Keefe is familiar with, I think that speaks on him more so being a rookie coach, being a coach that's only seen the NHL with 1 team. And I think that's kind of where the Leafs have to go with this. Craig Berube, Gerard Gallant, maybe Rod Brindamore if the Hurricanes don't work out. These are veteran coaches, Bakari, that they have to look out for, and I think that's where they're going to go towards. And it didn't work out last time with Mike Babcock, but I think Craig Berube, who just won a Stanley Cup with the Blues in 2019, I think that's the direction you have to go in.
Ooh, JV, talking about possible replacements. I like that. Along those lines, I have to ask you, are you personally sad to see Keefe leave?
With all due respect to the human being, I think it was time to go, Bakari. I think, you know what, after 2020, quite the disappointment against the Blue Jackets. Yes, it was in the pandemic, but after 2021, blowing the 3-1 lead against the Montreal Canadiens, I wanted to change then. You see so many NHL teams, so many experienced NHL teams. If a coach doesn't work out after a year or two, maybe that speaks against maybe a sentiment like loyalty. But at the end of the day, we're in the results business, and Sheldon Keefe actually said that in his press conference at season end. So results business, he got 5 years to get something done with this core. And I think a lot of the ownership needs to go in the players for not performing. But I'm not sad at this point, Bakari. I think maybe I would have been sad a couple of years ago, but 5 years later, only 1 playoff round win. I'm over it, and I'm ready for a new change with the Toronto Maple Leafs head coach.
Okay, so JV, we have to go, but before we go, you did name some possible replacements. I want to hear your pick for the top 3.
So, yeah, as I mentioned, Craig Berube would be at the top of the list, but there's been a lot of rumors to suggest that the New Jersey Devils are a favorite to get Craig Berube as their new head coach. But as we know here in Toronto, the Leafs do have the money to spend, so maybe they can convince Craig Berube to come over. I think my second favorite, and again, it's probably a long shot, but if the Hurricanes do lose this second-round series against the Rangers, there's been some conversations about Rod Brind'Amour and the Hurricanes not seeing eye to eye on a contract extension. Maybe the Toronto Maple Leafs can wiggle their way in there. And then number 3 would probably be Bruce Boudreau. Just in terms of the experience, in terms of his love for the Toronto Maple Leafs, he's seen so many different NHL teams, from the Washington Capitals, Minnesota Wild, more recently the Vancouver Canucks. So he knows the Canadian market. He might be a little bit on the older side, but I think in terms of his experience, maybe you just bring him in to see if an older, more veteran coach can speak to these guys, because I do think that veteran leadership needs to take place. But my number 1 option would definitely be Craig Berube. I think that's all in for that guy if you can get him.
All right, my man, John Viveros, host of Hot Take Hockey Podcast, with more on Keefe's firing. Thanks a lot.